Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, and want to thank you so much for joining me this evening on the late one in review, where we look at some of the news that maybe it is of beneficial to yourself, and the news which is maybe very important to you. There's always something interesting or something breaking um, in the UK, and there's always something interesting and breaking in the world at the same time. One of the breaking news as well is that in Jamaica they found Spider-Man. you know, I know it may be a joke, but we'll just touch on that very briefly later. Um, it's a great Thursday evening, Thursday the 16th of the 3rd, 2023. And and today I was walking in a park, and one of the things that came to me very strongly in the park. Let me turn this down. When I'm in the park, I learn many things, and I encounter many things, and I, uh, like to share. And one of the things which I like to share is some of the thoughts that come to me, and those thoughts I would say has come to me through interaction with God. But what came to me very strongly this morning in the park was simply this: have an agenda, have a purpose, have a plan, and don't say you don't know what to do. Okay? Because if you don't have an agenda, someone will have an agenda for you. If you don't have a plan, someone will have a plan for you. If you don't have a purpose, someone will have a purpose for you. And when you see you don't know what to do, someone will know what to do with you. And and that is something which came to me very strongly and very poignant this morning. And I just want to share that as a start. Well, first of all, in the UK, we are seeing some changes and some developments in a way. There's always need for developments, and one of the things which came out was the budget. That was the budget by the Chancellor, and that's his Jeremy Hunt. I don't think I've got a picture of Jeremy Hunt, but before Jeremy Hunt, it was Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak was the Chancellor, and with Boris Johnson, and with Jeremy Hunt now, Jeremy Hunt has now set out the budget, and that budget is now for, actually they say, leading up to the next election, right? Leading up to the next election, and also at the same time, we were hearing about the that even in Jamaica there was a recent budget as well by Nigel Clark, and a budget as well response by Mark Golden. What was very interesting about that budget was the whole aspect of the public and private work together regarding prisons. Oh, yes. Maybe we touch on that Saturday, but that is some new sort of developments there. Maybe not new developments, but actually things which are unfolding in Jamaica there. But hey, but you know, the key and most powerful thing is the budget. And I wait for Gary to come eventually. And also, the NHS 5% pay offer may end bitter dispute in England. So therefore, the striking for the nurses and doctors that may be coming to an end. For the past 2 days, there have been strike with the teachers as well. Children have to stay home. Daughter has been home. That is happening. So it is not just Jamaica only. It is worldwide, whereby things are happening in the sense of striking, in the sense of trying to um, deal with this high cost of living, dealing with the fallout after COVID, dealing with the fallout after Putin, and dealing with the fallout after the fallout. All of these things are happening right before our very eyes at the same time. But the budget, the budget by Chancellor, they said budget back to work plan to cost 70,000 per job. And if I just show it there, let me just see it there. Budget back to work plan. There it is. Budget 2023. A back to work plan to cost £70,000 per job, right? The budget, or they say, plan to encourage people back to work will have limited impact and cost 70,000 a job, a think tank says, right? It was a very interesting budget presentation by the chancellor, Jeremy Hunt. And somehow with the budget, one of the things that I saw with the budget was there was not seem to be a major and fundamental opposition to the budget. Okay, right? Normally a budget sometimes it is seen to be like something which is uh, while it is debatable and it is debating, but it seemed like even at one point when there were questions in regards to do you accept the budget by the opposition was saying, well, it's actually a budget which we actually devised in the first instance. Gary, good evening. How are you, sir?
Not bad, not bad. How are you?
I'm cool in the Malibu. I'm cool in the Malibu. Um, taking it easy, you know what I'm saying?
It's great. It's great to be on the Sydial show again.
Yes. Because I'm just like in my own corner here because one of the things that we see when it comes on to budget, when it comes on to these things, we hear so many different voices as to it, and we are susceptible to all these different voices. But the big question is, what are we saying about it? Does it make any sense? And I don't know
True.
if you sort of um, looked at the budget, not with any depths, but what's your take on it? Is it is it a budget for the people and all the people?
Well, I think it, it's it's for the rest, really. I think it's I don't know. Put it like this. I heard what I don't know if you heard a statement that was made by Nigel Lawrence. No,
By who? I didn't get that, Gary. Sorry.
and so of the
Oh, Norman. Did you
Nigel
say Norman
Lawson.
Lambert? Oh, Nigel Lawson. Nigel Lawson. Okay. Okay. What did
Nigel
he
Lawson.
say?
Yes, he said that the Conservative Party, if I remember correctly, not he said that the Conservative Party needs to reinvent themselves,
So
more or
yes, taking it
less.
a long way.
Uh, uh,
Oh, yeah, yes, taking it at a long in another direction. What is he saying? The budget doesn't reflect what the conservative is about.
I think I don't know. I think that the Conservative Party that is here now, and with the budget that has been presented, is not conservative. Is not a Conservative Party's budget.
Is it more socialist?
It could be. There's hardly any difference between the Conservative Party and the Labour Party right now, anyway.
So therefore, that's a very interesting point, and I tell you why it's a very interesting point. Why? Because when government listen to the people and government somehow take into consideration and they change their tune to try to please the people, one will say, well, what's the sense for opposition? Which is what
Right.
which is what Channel 4 said to a Labour MP. Well, because she kept saying that actually the budget is what Keir Starmer's been talking about. What they've done is, you know, so he said, well, what's the sense
Yeah,
for
yeah.
an opposition? You know, and that is a fundamental thing. So if a government listen to the people and the government, sorry, let me see something. Yes, Gary, let me hear you speak. You speak. Let me see if I can hear you because I think you're sort of cutting up. Speak,
Yeah.
Gary.
Well,
Count to 10. Let me
Well,
see if you can count to 10. Count to 10. Let me see if you can count
no, I'll count backwards.
to 10. All right.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes.
Um,
Mari, is he okay now? Is he okay now? I think you sound like you're okay. Um, let's see if you can. At least you can count. At least we have no. You could be a good chancellor. If
I don't know about that.
yeah, no, no, but on a serious note, the point which you flagged up a while ago, Gary, is a very crucial point. You know, yes, him good now. They see you good now. You're live. You're live on direct.
All right.
Illegal,
Legal.
illegal,
Legal. Really.
legal. Yes. it, I don't know if you find what Nigel has said, and I'm going to look Nigel Lawson. Yes, and he's saying that based on the budget. Yes, Nigel Lawson and the conservative, because many people sometimes say the conservative is not what the conservative is, and why is because the conservative help people. Could it be that they're helping people?
Don't know. What do you think?
No, I mean let's look at the budget. Let's look at the budget here. The budget talks about you know child care, and that's one of the things about child care. Said parents working 16 hours a week of children aged 9 months or 5 will get 15 hours, Gary. Free child care to encourage caregivers. That is something that mothers or so would want, don't you think?
Um. Yes. I mean, I think that. Um. What can you say? What can you say? I mean,
Yeah,
first,
parents working 16 hours
you, you,
because
you first
go on,
you first
go on.
have to define. I think one has to really define what is conservative and what is socialism.
Gary, you know, thinking about that in a sense, and regarding the budget, the big question is that question relevant when it comes on to people and how they are actually feeling, how they're actually the cost of living upon them. A parent wanting to get back into work find it very difficult, Gary, to actually get back into work when they are constrained by this massive childcare. It makes no sense. So what they do, they actually stay on the dole. And what the government is doing now is that giving them money in advance.
Yeah.
Is one can start to debate about conservative, but other people are saying, I don't care about conservative or labor. I want who can help me now.
Again, let me
Hmm.
tell you. Let me ask you the question again
Come on, go on.
because
Yes,
I think it is relevant. What
yes,
conservative? What is conservatism or what is socialism? Because
yeah.
we're coming down to um we're coming down to 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 election time. Coming down to
In the election 2020,
we need they need to appeal to the voters. They need to get the voters on side. Any party would do anything right now to build a confidence now between the vote and the well the election and now, because if 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 the Conservative Party right now cannot
yes,
appeal to the whole country, and when we say the whole country, we're not only talking to the industrialists and the businessmen and those who are living above the standard of living. Talking
mm,
about those who are living below the standard of living. Those who
mm,
exactly what you've just said, mothers wanting to get back into work, needing to get back into work, having the
Yes.
opportunity to get back to work, and not worry about childcare bills to some extent, because that in itself is a mortgage. Never mind if you have two children having to go to having, that you've got to kind of plan childcare for.
Yes.
So really, the Conservative Party, with some of their, what would you say, with some of their policies, is not conservative at all.
All right, Gary. Okay, look at what Otis Pinnock said there. I agree, and he agreed with you that this is not a conservative budget at all. They have lost their identity by raising taxes the way they have. Now he's talking about the taxes there, but I specified one particular budget aspect of it, which is the the child care bit to parents. Have we got that? I'm gonna go
Both,
through them one by one.
hold on,
Have we got a problem with that, Gary?
hold on. Both of those policies you mentioned, this one that Otis Pinnock has put up, and the child care, they're both socialistic policies, because the Conservative Party, which is almost exactly like the Republican Party. Are you there, Sylbourne? Okay, you come back.
Gary? Yeah, okay, I went. Yeah, because I realized that something happened there a while ago. Yeah.
But both of these policies, I don't know if you heard me say this, both of these policies um, that you've mentioned, one that Otis Pinnock has placed on the board here to say that, to talk about the raising of taxes and childcare, they're both socialist policies, because the Conservative Party, just almost exactly like the Republican Party, they are cut. They will cut taxes, less government. They
Yeah.
want people to spend. They want people to start business. They're the ones, less red tape, less government, more freedom to do what,
All
and
right.
room to maneuver and such.
All right.
The the Labour Party now
Yeah.
will raise taxes to fund policies. Yeah, they'll raise, just like what Conservatives has done there, to fund policies such as the childcare and other things.
Okay. Is the child care policy in the budget good or bad for mothers or parents? Rather, I shouldn't say mothers. I don't want to be sexist. Parents, when it comes on to child care, is it good or bad?
It's
What I'm trying to do is move away a bit from the whole debate regarding it's conservative or not. I'm looking at what they said is that they this will be staggered from April 2024 to ensure enough places. Children up to 2 years old will get 15 hours free from April 2024. Children from 9 months up will benefit from September 2024. And from September 2025, every single working parent of a child under 5 will have access to 30 hours free childcare per week. Conservative or labor, is this good for the people?
Again, I'm not saying it's not bad. It's
Yeah.
not bad, but again, I stress the point. My learned friend. Let's let's talk House of Commons talk. My learned friend, say this to you, that it's an electioneering gimmick. It's electioneering. They've started their electioneering.
Yeah, because this goes straight up to election.
It does, and it's not bad.
Mm,
It's good to some extent, but it's
mm.
not conservatism. It is not
Okay,
conservative policy.
okay. But can we agree on something that we have spoken about a long time ago? And we spoke about that. Isn't it time for governments, in a way, parties to come together and try to rectify the wrongs and the issues at this time, the cost of living, the fallout with Ukraine, the fallout with Russia, and come together to try to make things right. Conservative, conservative or not, labor or not. What are we looking for? Ideology? Or are we looking for solutions? I'm just putting that one out there. Are we looking for solutions or are we looking for ideology? Ladies and gentlemen, Otis Pinnock, Gary. Pensions. Look at pensions. Pension. The lifetime allowance, the total amount workers can accumulate in their pension saving before paying extra tax has been abolished. Mr. Hunt, it will stop 80% of NH doctors from receiving a tax charge. And the pension annual tax-free allowance will raise by 50% from 40,000 to 60,000. Now, what he said is that what the Jeremy Hunt said, hey, the youths are not as great as the elders. So what he's saying, we need to get the elders back in, And he said, I was on my way out. I know I'm not a chancellor. He was NHS. I mean, that what they're doing, they are touching now on the pension bit. So it is saying that people, you can't go home any earlier. You have to start work. Is that good or bad? Is that a conservative or not?
Again, you see, there's a mixture of sorts here.
Mm.
Bearing in mind, listen, what we need to be careful of,
Yeah.
and Otis, I don't know if he's still with us or still
Mm.
listening, and I don't know
Mm.
if he would agree with this, but we're going to pay for this later. What they're doing, as I've said, I will stand my ground on this point.
Yes.
They are electioneering. They have started trying to put the best way forward because they want to win the next election. Rishi has a problem. Rishi has a problem. The Conservative Party right now has a problem. Rishi is not bad. Rishi has, to me, Rishi is doing well. I think he's doing quite well in that
Mm.
he hasn't got the gravy train, if I can use that, behind him where Boris was concerned.
Yes.
So I think he's doing quite well. If he was if he was a little bit taller, if he was a white man, then then I think the whole country would be bowing down at his feet.
But
I don't see that right now. But
yeah,
listen.
yeah,
I'm not saying that all is lost for Rishi. I
yes.
think and I believe that if something extraordinary happens within the economy and this country right now,
Mm.
it would really put Rishi up there in the stratosphere. I mean, I don't think that the Labour Party really has anything to offer.
Well, as I said, with the interviews with few Labour persons, MPs, they were of the view that um, while they weren't opposing to certain things, that what they're saying is that it was Keir Starmer's policies that was using. So therefore, the question, and then someone said, well, that means to say there's no need for the Labour Party if the Conservative. And then you have to ask yourself the question, and like what Empower Network says, practical solutions regardless of ideology, with a proviso that we depend less on the state. And the big question, and what I say all the while is this: isn't it time? And I had a program last week. I had a program last week on Talk and Sip. We didn't actually get around to it, but my topic was this: is it a time for a government of national unity? That's what we're talking about. And when government of national unity comes in, it is when there's crisis. But then those crises were the time when you had the war and all those different factors, Abraham Lincoln, all those. That's when national unity comes in. We had a coalition in the UK. That was when the people said, actually, we don't trust either of you to do it by yourself. So you guys have to come together and work. But what we're seeing here now, irrespective of elections, and if I was a leader, of course, I'd be thinking about election as well. And I would like to plan all the way down there. The question is, when people are listening, when people are wanting to get some solutions for their life, wanting to get a tax break, and we're going to touch on the oil bit a bit later. Um, are these things helping them, or one is going to say it is not conservative, it is not, it is not the ideology of the conservative? Or are we trying to fix the solutions of people? That's a big question.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Alcohol duty. That's the next one, which he came up with, alcohol. And yeah, the I'm not sure we're interested in that one there, but the alcohol duty, tax relief of 11p has been announced on draft drinks. That's that's serving pubs from 1st of August. So some people will benefit from that. Um, I don't know if you want to benefit from that, Gary, but that's alcohol duty. You know, that's going to come into play. And then fuel duty is the next one. An extension of the 5p cut in fuel duty at a cost of 6 billion has been announced for a year. Fuel duty will also be frozen for the next 12 months. Is that good? Can we try? You know?
I don't. I mean, again, I
Mm.
don't even know, my brother.
I'm just asking. I mean, I'm just looking at the budget here. I mean, I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I'm just looking at it because it is for people to sort of understand or to recognize, is this something which is beneficial to them? You know, and 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 the key bit was regarding the child care, field duty. Yeah, and if you go on to the benefit bits now, it talks about um, government will abolish the work capability assessment for disabled people and separate benefit entitlement from an individual ability to work. The aim is to enable disabled people to seek work without fear of losing their benefits. A new program called Universal Support will also fund extra support for disabled people to find work. Isn't that helping people?
I mean, nobody's. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. I
But
think you. What you're asking is, isn't it? What you're asking about is whether it is conservative,
no,
policy,
no.
or
I,
labor purposes.
I, actually, I'm not the one who is actually saying whether it's conservative or what. I'm just actually looking at solutions and looking at ways how people lives can be better. It's like even energy bills. Government is extending the energy price guaranteed EPG, which keeps the average household bill at 2,500 until the end of June by capping the unit price of electricity. The typical bill was due to rise by. This bit is always a bit funny because they always say you're gonna save. You don't really save anything because you don't want it to increase in the first place. Under the EPG, the government effectively caps household costs and reimburse companies for the difference between that and the cost of buying power on wholesale market. You know, investment zones, other defense, and all those sort of things there. Gary. Uh, I mean, if we get into now the bit about, is it conservative or labor? Um, you know, I mean, Otis said gimmick, not real solutions.
Well,
But that is
well, well. Yes. I mean, I would agree with what Otis
yeah,
is saying. I would agree with what Otis has said. They are gimmicks. It's
yeah,
not conservatism. It is to buy and to get the votes. When the election is finished, and if they get back in, this is going to be that's when you're going to see the Conservative Party kick in, because the Conservative Party cuts taxes. That's
uh-huh,
what they do.
yes,
They
yes,
they, they uh, on defense, they are the defense spenders. What Rishi has done in
Mm,
regards to going to them to San Diego with the American president and the prime mayor for
mm,
Australia, that is to me that's a conservative move
mm.
because that is what Biden has done is not a democratic move. Is not a Democrat move because if you look at well, I'm going back in my head as far as history is concerned.
Yes,
Biggest defense spending in the U.S. I
yes,
I think was when Ronald Reagan was president of the United States, and he was Republican.
yes.
The Republicans will spend on defense. That's
Mm,
what they do. The Democrats, Labor, they raise taxes to spend on socialist ideals.
mm.
That's what Labor does.
So
So
what?
so
Mm,
so what Rishi has done, in as much as it's hypocrisy to some extent, and the reason why I'm saying that Silborn
yeah,
and your listeners is hypocrisy that they're spending. Is it 50 billion? Is it a billion? Is it 50? I can't remember what the amount was,
yeah,
but they're spending on defense and the doctors, the nurses, the public sector needs the money and they can't find the money for them. Yet they can find the money for the war machine, which to some
yeah.
extent it's going against the grain and it may just go against Rishi. However, however,
Mm,
let me just and I'll give it back to you, Sil, because this is
mm,
your
mm. No, no, it's our program. Your program. It's a people
however,
program. Yes.
however, if, and this is a big if here, if the war goes west,
Yes.
England will step in, will have to step in and defend.
Yeah.
If NATO is attacked, England will have to step in because Putin would have gone a step too far, and that is where we're going to see the money that has been earmarked for defense come into play. And the citizens of this country will expect the government to defend them, irrespective of what it costs. Are you there, Sil? Is it me or is it you?
Are you
I
back?
think, okay,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
see you. Okay.
I don't know what is happening. You keep I think because we keep calling Rishi name. Um, we keep getting shut down. We used to get all of these shut down. Hang on a second. I can see that you came out and come back in. Let me take you back out, Gary, and bring you back in. Yes. Oh,
Yeah, I'm
Gary.
here. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you're frozen on the screen in a way.
All right, you
Yeah.
want me? I'll come
Yeah.
out and come back
Yeah.
in. I'll
Yeah.
come out and
Come on and come back in. Come on and come back in. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what is happening. Maybe let me see, Gary. Yes. Oh, um, I paid my energy bill just to let you know. I've do not owe the government anything. um, but anyway, it's very interesting the conversation and the dialogue here in regards to the plan for this budget is actually leading towards a general election, and therefore it is not genuinely real. You're back, Gary.
yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Well, we'll finish soon anyhow. Well, anyway, but it's very interesting what you're saying there and what um uh, Empower TV Network is actually saying. And I know we're leading up to election. So, what do you think about the Rwanda policy then, the immigration policy? Is that something they're using for election as well?
Yes, I think that they
Mm,
will use that the majority, to me, the majority of the UK population, when I say that, when I say the majority, I'm really talking about the indigenous population. They don't want anybody to come in here. They want to travel everywhere else, but they don't want nobody to come in. Right? Um, and so that could be a vote winner.
You think so?
Yes, that could be very much a vote winner. It may not work. It may not work, but it will win people over. But what I'm saying, as I said before, at the end of, if the Conservative Party wins, and after the elections, that is when you will definitely see this Conservative Party clicking, and
Mm.
the policies will be conservative. It's not going to be socialism or socialist. It won't be.
It will be back to what conservative is about.
Yeah.
So therefore, so therefore, what is happening is just simply for the whole purpose of winning, and it's not genuine.
Well,
Even though
Otis put it there. Didn't Otis put it up? The
no, yeah, Otis did put it up. Yeah, yeah, I'm saying that, but of course, at the same time, this is qualified. It's a gimmicks, not real solutions. But
gimmicks, right?
yeah, but at the same time, we're seeing that people are actually talking about getting something for them. We agreed from a long time that the oil crisis, and they claim that it is Putin, claim that it is Ukraine. But the question is, how comes they're making so much profit still? We have been talking about that. How come they be making so much profit still?
Them
Um,
who
now the Shell, BP, and all those guys.
I mean, listen.
Mm,
What fuels what fuels the war and the war machines abroad? Isn't it the oil? I mean,
exactly.
there's ships. There's ships they've got to keep going on out
Mm,
there. There are planes. There are armored vehicles. There's all sorts of machinery out there.
yeah.
So what we don't see, we don't think about.
Mm,
It's only when we sit down, like let's say like now, and we begin to nitpick, and we begin to examine, because we forget that there's a war going on. We forget that the oil companies, whether they want to be a part of it or not, they are a part of it in that they are supplying fuel to
uh,
NATO. They are supplying fuel. Well, Russia, it is said, has their own oil base, and so they refine their own oil and such. Okay, that's fine.
mm.
But for us, that's what fuel is. That is what is giving them their profits. We've got to look at the, let's say, the small print, and the small print is that there's a war that's going on there in Europe.
Then with the recent today regarding the Russian plane and the balloons in the air, which it seemed like it is creating a sort of standoff between America and Russia. Um, and those sort of tricky things, because I did post something today because I realized that as everybody's twiddling their thumbs and everybody's trying to create some sort of, what should I say, allegiance with either way Ukraine or whatever like that, we're actually embarking on what we could consider to be a possible World War III. Well, as we discussed long time, said the Bible says there'll be wars and rumors of wars. The Bible said there'll be wars and rumors of wars. I would just speak about wars. We're gonna have wars, you know.
Well, that's what the Bible
We're gonna have
says.
wars and rumors of war.
We're gonna have rumors as well as wars.
Yeah, it's a US releases the footage of Russian jet crashing into a drone, and one of the things which I mentioned in a post, and the simple thing was that what I read it, I put it on Facebook. I don't know if it's taken down. The very funny thing about the buildup of a possible war with Russia versus the world, all the stakeholders and players or leaders is interesting, as it is more than likely they won't be around in the next 5 years. Now, you mentioned something earlier that we are going to be paying for these budget, and people are actually saying we're actually paying for even the period of the COVID when all those things were given away,
Oh yeah, yeah. I
and
mean,
most of these persons who are making these decisions now, they're not going to be around in 5 years' time. But Biden won't be around in 5 years' time, whether he's passed away or whatever. And they're making decisions, plain brinkmanship, which will affect yours and our future. And what is lacking, as we have been saying, is clear statesmen who can sit these guys down, sit these players down, and say, quiet down and stop this rubbish, who will bell the cat. And that is what is happening here now. The world is like on an autopilot where nobody is taking responsibility for what is happening around us.
nobody's taking responsibility because, as you see,
Mm.
I
You can say it. Rich is listening.
I don't want them to cut you off. You see, again, my brother, I am really under the impression that
Yes.
that um, yes, we are paying now for what the government did in the last 2 years.
Mm.
There is always a reaction, or nothing happens in isolation.
Mm.
If COVID didn't happen, then financially this country, which is funnily enough still the fifth richest country in the world.
Mm.
Okay, but they talk as if we've lost that status, or that the UK has lost that status. But if COVID did not happen, then this country, let us say, would not have the burden that it's having right now by
Mm.
having to raise taxes and such. Because when you look back at where we're coming from 3-4 years back to where we are today, we can see that there is a difference.
Mm.
We can see that there is a difference of standard of living, because things have just gone through the roof, really. Things have
Yeah.
just gone through the roof. So we are having to pay for what we received 3-4 years back.
Mm.
Uh, for the future, I believe that I believe that many of the leaders that are around now, as you have, I think, more or less um, said, they won't be around.
It won't be
Is
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. You've said Biden won't be around. Putin may not be around.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It
um,
is. Yeah. You're right about that. And
and
mm.
furthermore, let me say that I believe also that um, that most of, as I've said it before, I've said this before,
Yeah.
most of the leaders, if not all of the leaders of
Mm.
our world, has not experienced war before. The only one that we can probably say has experienced war, and he said he fought, is Joe Biden. But most of our leaders have not been through any type of conflict,
Yeah.
and that is why they can choose war so easily.
Or let's say they don't know how to de-escalate. They don't know how to de-escalate. They know more how to ramp up the thing, like the ramping shop. The more to, or to ramp things up, Gary. They don't know how to de-escalate because these persons, they claim to be diplomats or whatever like that, but they lack the the know how how to bring these stakeholders together, bring Putin together, bring Zelensky together. I mean, it just escalating with the war of words.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
just like with Gary Lineker earlier. War of words. Words are just escalating things. Everything is words, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, we talk about God. Yeah, God is about words. In the beginning was a word. The word was God. Word was God. The word became flesh, dwelt among men. It's words, Gary. How to dice, how to diffuse these words to create some level of harmony.
yeah, yeah. Again, again. What can you say now? I mean, people have become so fickle. They're so. I mean, what Gary Lineker said. Do you see anything with what he said?
I think the bit with Gary Lineker, which has been somewhat concerning for many, is because of how he linked the present government with Germany. And even though he didn't say Nazi, we know what Germany was at that time in the 1930s under Hitler. It were the Nazis. So I think it was that is where the offense came in. But at the same time, when one look at the words, and some people are comparing some words, the words may be similar when they talk about invasion and all and on some of the rhetorics, but it was a different time period that they're talking about. And many are saying sometimes that the hypocrisy, even about Gary Lineker, is the fact that at the recent World Cup, sorry, the recent World Cup, they didn't speak out hard, or they didn't, what should I say, withdraw themselves from the World Cup because of what Qatar was up to. They didn't, Gary, and that is the thing. And Jeremy Clarkson and those guys from the show there when they were cancelled, and people were thinking that the show was going to be shut down. The show continued, and I think one of the aspect about Gary Lineker is the fact that it is unfortunate that the BBC, which is taking my license and taking yours, that's if you watch TV, um, somehow seem to be held hostage by
But no,
someone.
yeah, but the BBC. What most people, if not, well, I don't know. I don't know if it's most people, but the BBC is the political machine for them. It's the mouthpiece of government policies.
That is
Nobody.
that is even questionable because many people were talking about the BBC with Laura Kursberg and these guys weren't supportive of the government. They were more leftist.
Yeah,
That's what people were talking about of some time ago.
but the BBC. No, nobody. We say that this is a free country. Which part of this country is free? Tell me.
Well, it is as free as one doesn't do something which restricts one's freedom. Mean to say, I can get up now and I can finish here and I can go in my car and drive down to a supermarket. I can even drive down to Leeds if anything. I'm free to do that, Gary. But if I go ahead and do something which is illegal, then my freedom is restricted. If I say something which incite racial hatred, incite violence or so, then I'm doing things to restrict my freedom. So the question is, what do we call freedom?
What do we call freedom?
The big question is, are you free? Are we all free? Ladies and gentlemen on Instagram, ladies and gentlemen on TikTok, those on YouTube, are you free? What do you call freedom? They said Gary Lineker thought he had a special agreement with the BBC's director general to tweet about refugees and immigration, his agent said.
Yeah, but what is wrong about doing that? What's wrong in doing?
Gar-
He's just stating a
Nothing
plain.
is wrong. Nothing.
So
Nothing.
why did the BBC react the way they did then?
It was the Naxi bit. It was the link with
No,
the
but that
Naxi.
is history. That's part of history. So
No,
are we saying then? Hold on. Are we then going to say that? we cannot that cannot be taught in school because
No, no, no. That's not it. No, I don't know if you listened to the tweet. I read the tweet. The tweet said he was comparing the UK government to the Nazi.
and
That
what's
is
wrong about that?
what's wrong about that.
Yeah.
That's wrong. That's not right.
Okay. No, I'm not saying that the Nazi government that the British government is like the Nazi government. I'm just saying that the way you see, you've got to look at it within the context of what is happening.
Yeah,
It's not that the British government is behaving like the Nazi
yeah,
government holistically. What Gary Lineker is saying is that
yeah.
in regards to the refugees, in regards to what is happening with the refugees coming in and the treatment of such, that he is
Not
bringing in
happy with.
comparisons.
Yeah. Yeah, Gary. I don't think anybody. As I think lots of people have been talking about that. Many people have been saying it's illegal. It's against human rights. Everybody has been saying that. Otis just said what the thinking is. The comparison Nazi German was harsh, but even though I disagree with him, he has a right to his opinion, and that's what many people are saying. He has a right to opinion. However, this is what I'm getting to understand, and the BBC director, former BBC director general, said this because Gary is seen somewhat as the face of the BBC in a sense because he has been with the BBC for years. He has 8 million following, and therefore what he says may affect the ratings of the BBC, i.e., so by what he said now, of course, it appealed more to the left and more against the right. And therefore, they may see that their viewership has gone down. Those are some of the discussions that they've been having about that. And and Gary, in certain organizations that one work with, one is not one has what should I say, contractual obligations. And Gary, I don't know what the contractual obligation that Gary had, but the agent said here that he believed that Gary had. He said, um, in a piece, John Holmes has described the crisis talks held with BBC boss during last week's standoff. He said he warned them that suspending Lineker could be damaging. Hours before a staff walkout begin, BBC apologized for the disruption. Will review its social media rules. Gary take a passionate interest in refugees and immigration. And Gary and Gary, I'm calling you Gary, Gary. Gary's from Leicester, so he's used to having a lot of immigrants around him as well from in the Leicester period. So I think it's for the BBC to sort out its social media guideline, especially with these guys who are, what should I say, um not employees, but age but what should I say, associates or whatever, BBC, just like Ian Wright and the other persons, them who say they're not going to support um Match of the Day if Gary wasn't there. And Kevin Moulton said right here, human freedom score must be taken into consideration. Human freedom. And it's a great debate. It's a great discussion. But there's many different aspects to it. But I don't think he's gonna last long in the BBC though. I don't think so.
Well, I believe, you know
Yeah,
what I believe, you know what came to me in regards to Gary Lineker?
yeah.
They've been wanting to get him out. Why? Because he's the highest paid.
That's another thing again.
And
That's
there's been some talk of they don't know how to how to lessen his amount. They don't know
yeah.
how to do it.
Yes,
So
yes,
they're trying to force him out, or they're
yeah.
trying to put pressure on him for him to step away. And I'm
I,
saying to Gary, stay where you are
yeah,
because they can't
yeah,
sack him
yeah.
because he's done nothing wrong.
Yeah, Gary, I agree with you there, and I sense that somehow they're trying to powers that be somewhat frustrating him, not just because of the refugee bit, but because of trying to appease the license holders. Because many people are saying, actually, I mean, if you read social media, a lot of people are saying they are the ones who are paying his salary. I know he's going on like that. That's what lots of people are actually saying. I was walking in the park the other day with I met a gentleman. He's 79, and he's really peed off with Gary. He said, he said, there are lots of young guys out there. Give some other guys a break, man. Give some other guys a break or so, um, as well. Not just Gary and Ian Wright and all those guys. Let them go, man. Let them fly out. Got lots of guys. Even you, Gary, want a break on BBC. Yeah, why not? Easy. Otis, great having you. But Gary, listen. On a final note, before we wrap up, there was a fireman in Jamaica. I don't think I have the. I can't. I don't think I can play the video, but there's a fireman in Jamaica. Um, climbed down from top of half a tree transport center. And Gary, the video is out. I'm gonna send it to you. I did it. It said Spider Man is now in Jamaica. The guy just listen. Jamaica is like the Netflix series. Is not Netflix. We call it Jamflix series. Jamaica is like Jamflix series. It's a suspended firefight. I'll show you the building. I'll show you the building. Here's the building. I don't know if you've been to Jamaica. Have you ever been to Jamaica, Gary? You ever been to Jamaica?
Really? Was it in Kingston? In Kingston, you say?
In Kingston.
You're half a tree?
After a tree, the pavilion. There's that place. Suspended firefighter climbs down from top of halfway tree transport center. And what took place was that, on a serious note, he was actually speaking up for the firemen, and all those things. And suspended firefighter Leah Bennett is now off the top of the halfway tree transport center after emergency responders were successful in coaxing him to end his one-man protest for improving working conditions for firefighters. And during his protest, he said Bennett again criticized the local government ministry and the leadership of the Jamaica Fire Brigade for not taking seriously the safety and welfare of firefighters, right? And so he was actually speaking up for the firefighters in Jamaica. But somehow it's strange speaking up for the firefighters when you're the only one there. And the firefighters came to coax him down at the same time. But he said what actually got him down was a call from his wife, you know. And so that was Jamflix series in Jamaica. The Jamflix series goes on in Jamaica because they're still waiting for Usain Bolt money. We haven't found Usain Bolt money yet, and things like that. So the guy there, see me, we want Bolt money.
Jamaica's a joke, man. Don't tell him.
Yeah, and the latest with Jamaica as well is that Mark Golden, the PNP, they are seeing somewhat of a spike in their quest to become next government of Jamaica. So a lot of things are happening there. It's very political now, very politically charged in Jamaica at the same time, very politically charged in Jamaica at this time, you know. So that's the thing there, yeah. Hey, how are you? So Gary, listen, I, I I I find myself being invited by persons on TikTok. How are you guys? You good? You good? Yeah, yeah. So I'll just finish off this and come to you guys. So Gary, listen. Well, that's it. 10 o'clock. Let's wrap up, and we can follow up on this another time, and maybe Sunday night. I'm going back in the studio as well. We'll let you know. I'm going to go back in the studio. Starting this Saturday. 8 years of the Sylbourne show. Going to be 8 years now.
8 years. Wow.
Eight years. So therefore, that's going to be happening there as well. So definitely. All
It's
right.
great. It's
All
great
right.
to be a part of of that 8 years.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. Definitely. All right. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining those on Facebook, those on YouTube, and thank you so much. And look forward to it for next time. And Saturday night, talk and sip as well. And definitely check out the studio, looking for persons to interview. And Gary, when you come to London, we can do some interviews as well.
Yeah,
All
man.
right.
Yes.
All right. All right. Peace out, Gary.
Bless you, man. Take care.
God
Yeah.
bless. Cheers. Bye bye.